The planet Mars is the fourth planet from the sun. When we see pictures of it up close, it looks a lot like Earth in many ways, but it also appears to be completely dead without anything living there. But here's the question for today. Is it possible real scientists have just written a paper claiming there was once life on Mars, but it accidentally killed itself off? Or is this just some kind of big fat joke? I have the answer to that planetary mystery, plus answers on a couple other items you guys sent in, so don't go away. Hey guys, Bill here. Maurice Dubois wrote me a few days ago and said he read this article about how some supposed scientists wrote about their belief that there may have once been life on Mars, but because this life didn't live in a way that was compatible with the Mars climate, it ruined the atmosphere, caused Mars to get very cold, and anything that was alive froze to death. Maurice wrote, "Hey Bill, is this story for real or just made up?" Maurice, this is the first time I've heard about this story, so let's take a look around and see if it has any credibility. The first thing I did was go out on the internet and do a search on life kills itself on Mars. I mean, I just made that up. Nobody else said that. I wasn't expecting to find much, but I did see something from a site called Science Alert, whatever that is, and it did have an article titled, "Earliest life on Mars could have self-destructed in a climate catastrophe." Now, according to this article, this idea was being promoted by real scientists, not some fakers out there, who are starting to think that Mars once had a climate that was conducive to supporting life. They think the early days of the planet were warm and wet, not dry and cold like it is today. They even go so far as to estimate the temperatures on the surface of Mars was 14 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 to 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, now comes the really interesting part. According to this article, these scientists believe the early warm days of the planet supported these little creatures called microbes that lived on the planet. But here's the thing, these microbes didn't live in a way that was compatible with the climate they lived in. What they were doing was consuming hydrogen to live, and hydrogen, if you are up to date on your greenhouse gases, is a greenhouse gas, and that hydrogen was what was keeping Mars warm. So once you eat up all the hydrogen, they didn't eat it all, but they ate enough to make the climate change, turning the planet so cold you couldn't survive there. Now, the microbes tried to move underground where it was warmer, but eventually they couldn't escape the cold and they all froze to death. So in a sense, they killed themselves. The article then gets to its final point when it says, the scientists believe their findings suggest that life may not be innately self-sustaining in every conducive environment it pops up in. So in other words, what they're saying is there could be a whole bunch of planets out there that are conducive to life, but the way life evolves, it can evolve in a way that it wipes itself out accidentally because it destroys the foundations for its own existence. Get the picture? Okay, now I know this story sounds a little far-fetched, far out there, and it kind of, suspicious because, it almost kind of sounds like some kind of tricky message from, like climate activists here on Earth that are trying to warn us that, we're wiping ourselves out by making our planet too hot. But then again, who knows? This could be true. So, tell you what, I think it's time for you to make up your mind and let everybody know what you think. Is this story real, fake, or unknown? If you think it's a real story written by a real scientist, go with real. If, on the other hand, you think somebody just made this up to prank us Earthlings, go with fake. And as always, if you don't think I have a real answer and no smoking gun, then you can always go with unknown. Just go ahead and yell out your answer so everybody knows where you stand. And if you can't do that, it's okay to go to the comment section and leave your answer down there. You ready? And go. Hey, while we're waiting for everybody to make up their minds and vote, let's take a look at a couple other things that came in the door recently. First up is this car stunt video. The video was sent in by Christian Dior Reyes, who wants to know if this is for real. Christian, this one really looks authentic, but I have to be honest with you, it's fake. The problem here is to do this stunt this fast, the car would have to use its brakes. And why are there no brake lights on what looks like a brand new car? Well, I'll tell you why. Because, the 3D synthetic computer-created models they use to make videos like this, well, those models aren't sophisticated enough to have brake lights. And if that isn't enough for you, look at the front wheel here. There is some digital distortion. See how it goes sideways for no reason for a frame or two? It's a dead giveaway. Totally fake. Next up, a video called Mystery Dog Monkey Creature captured on GoPro camera. It was sent in by Christian Tobias, who is curious about its authenticity. The guy in the video is just riding his bike, and then this happens. Did you see it? Let's take another look in slow motion. Now, let's rock it back and forth a little. What do you guys think? I think it's fake, but I don't have any solid smoking gun evidence, so we're going to have to leave it unknown for now. It looks like a monkey, but who knows? If you do know, let us know in the comment section. And finally, we have this picture. It was sent in by Mac Ronaldo, who says it was taken after Hurricane Ian struck Florida a few weeks back. Mac says people think it might be leftovers from a small living dinosaur, or at least it was living. Mac, I did some work on this. It is a real picture, but it is not a dinosaur. The best I can do for you is to say it's a dinosaur of a fish, sort of. That is, this fish has been around on the planet forever. It's called a spotted gar and known to swim in the waters around where the hurricane hit. I know a lot of people got hurt in that hurricane, but I also feel sorry for this little guy who got caught in the fence. Okay, now that we have all those items tucked away, let's get back to this big story about Mars. Did some real scientist write a real story about how microbes might have caused their own demise on Mars by changing the climate? Well, let's see what we have. I have the red envelope right here in my hand right now, and I'm opening it up. See what we have here. See what the official answer is. And it says, and I'm quoting, "The story about Mars possibly having life and that life killed itself off by altering the climate on Mars in a way that made it too cold for the little critters to survive is 100%, without any doubts whatsoever, real." That's right. The story being reported on numerous science websites and a few mainstream media outlets comes from a bona fide group of scientists who published a paper on a site called Nature Astronomy. The scientists stated they do not have proof, and I'm going to repeat that, they do not have proof that life once existed on Mars. But after studying lots of evidence from the planet, they say their theory is definitely possible. So there you go. And now, for my favorite fake of the week, it was sent in by Joey Gouda and shows us this. Joey Joey, this video was actually made about 12 years ago. It was made by a group called City Harvest to point out the huge amounts of food that is being wasted every day. It's a really good job, but at the end of the day, it's so fake. It's funny. Hey, don't go away just yet. There are a whole lot more real or fakes you can look at. Just go ahead and click on one.